Hi, I'm Susan. I'm the photo book designer here at EverPresent. I'm here with Jeff and Mira, and I'd like to hear a little more about the experience you've had so far and what you'd like to do with a photo book.
Sure. Well, I'll start. We are repeat users of EverPresent. The first time we used EverPresent actually coincided with the move. I had about 1,500 photos that dated back all the way to when I was 3 or 4 years old, and it was almost a security thing. I just wanted to digitize them. And once we sort of got through that process, it was just so interesting to see once you had those photos and the ability to use them in different ways, it was sort of the sky's the limit. So one of my prized possessions is this book of fish pictures. I'm a huge fisherman, and they've gone all the way back to 1979. And so they were able to scan all of that and even scan some of the sort of the detail on those pictures. So that's been very, very good to push through. I send those to my dad, I send those to my relatives very, very frequently. The most interesting thing for me, or why I'm so interested in EverPresent, is just once you have those images in a format that you can use them very easy, it's just every time you see those photos, it brings some sense of joy or some sense of, I remember that, and that's very, very important to me.
My family's been skiing up in Vermont for the same place in Vermont for 42 years, and we have our ski passes that we've had every year for all of our 4 family members, and now all of my and Jeff's family members, and my brother and his wife and their kids. And we just had this stack of ski passes, and we scanned them all, and now we need to also figure out something to do with those now that those are digitized.
Well, that's perfect. I mean, what our goal is for people not only to digitize them and preserve them, like you say, but then to enjoy them and to use them and to share them with their families. And it sounds like you're doing a great job of that. And another way to do that is the photo books.
We get a lot of different albums and scrapbooks at EverPresent, and we handle them a lot of different ways. Consistently though, we always wear gloves, especially with the archival paper if the client wants it back as it came to us. The oils on our fingers can affect the paper, affect the photos, so we always wear gloves. This particular album, she wants the pages scanned and the photos with people in them cropped out individually. So we always use the giant flatbed scanners for that, so we don't hurt the binding of the albums. So for most albums and scrapbooks, we'll preview the pages so we can get enough area around the individual photos that we don't lose any edges or writing that may be on the corners. So it's really easy to select the photos and always leave that circumference around them. We can get rid of all that extra paper we left around the edges, and we can crop right to the edge of the photo. And sometimes they also have little particles of dust or lighting issues that we can easily correct in our software. We have different files for when we're editing and the original scans, so there's always the step beforehand that we still have available to us, so we can go back and make sure there's no mistakes and everything is the way the client wants it.
Well, I'm here with Chris Acton-Mayer, who is also one of the co-founders of EverPresent. And Chris, I understand you're the technical guru here at EverPresent.
Right. That's right.
So, I understand there's a lot that goes on with the business, but tell us from a production standpoint, because you're the production manager, what does it take to keep this thing going?
Well, it's a lot of hard work and a lot of experience. We like to deal with every format that we see in-house. So it takes a tremendous amount of experience and a lot of different types of equipment. But one of the things that we're really focused on is making sure that the client gets something that they can really make use of. And one of the technologies that we're really proud of that we leverage every day is facial recognition software.
I know, that is amazing. When I talked to Eric and Jan about that, that to me, it just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's something we're really proud of. It has a wow factor, and it's hard to find a wow factor when you have 10,000 images on a USB stick. What do you do with all that? Well, if you can go through it person by person, it makes it really easy.
The software allows me to go in and basically look at my brother. Once I go in and do that, it pulled 900 photos varying from 74 all the way to 2014, and was able just to pick out 10 or 12 photos from each decade and use those as the basis for this. So it's a just pretty interesting use of both the old photos as well as the new that's been enabled by EverPresent.
And then we go through, the software gets us part of the way there once we assign the names. But then we actually go through face by face and we say, okay, is that actually Uncle Sandy or not? And by the end of it, we get to know your family pretty well, actually.
That is so cool.
Hi, I'm Allie, and I am a scan tech at EverPresent. Right now, I am scanning a slide job. Try to load it up with about 20 to 40 slides at a time. First, I wipe them off with a cloth, one by one, to make sure there's no fingerprints or anything sticky on them. I use the air gun to make sure there's no dust, any fuzzies, anything on it. Keep them in order for our quality control purposes, to check later when they're all in order. Then I load them up into the carrier, and then I check to see if the scan looks good. We keep them in bags. Each of these came from a carousel originally, so the label on the bag is where it came from.
My name is Bennett Tyler. I am the lead video tech here at EverPresent, and behind me you'll see our video processing cluster. Really any sort of old analog media that you have, we back here run into our decks and send them into our computers. We have a couple different capturing programs that let us intake the footage and create actual digital files of them, which we later copy to USBs, copy to DVDs, depending on your preference. We can really do just about any sort of media, from old film reels to VHS tape. So the process itself is it's pretty linear, it's pretty simple. Play it through and let it record into our digital system, and then it moves to the processing side, which is where I'm sitting right now, where I will take that uncompressed file, which is usually a massive file depending on the length, and compress it down to something a lot smaller and more manageable.
After word from our sponsors, a few of EverPresent's clients will share with you their experiences and find out how fate led the founders of EverPresent to select their current location as their corporate headquarters.